All right, let's focus on the match day one of the UEFA Champions League. As we discuss I would say some of the big teams, big matches like the Bayern versus Chelsea games at the Allianz Arena and Liverpool welcoming Atlético de Madrid at the Anfield. Now, let's start with talking about the defending champions as they prepare to host Atalanta for the match day one of the UEFA Champions League game. I believe PSG are favorite for this game. They have a clear upper hand to win this uh, match. For me, I feel like they might win by 2 goals to 0, depending on how they've rested their defense for the weekend Ligue A match. They've rested their players for the Liga match. So I still believe, looking at Atlanta's performance for from the beginning of their match for their season, I think they've conceded, a goal each game. So I believe PSG will cruise despite having serious injuries up front. But I still believe PSG will win this game. But they should win this game because they are defending champions. They need to show why they are defending champions as the season starts. But we know Atalanta's away, with injuries to Kvaratskhelia, Dembele and Doué. I still believe PSG has the team to beat Atalanta. But if Atalanta pull a surprise, we'll be here to talk about it too. Oh, now let's talk about Arsenal. I don't know what's wrong with this Arsenal team, but I feel like Arsenal should be that team that should win the Champions League easily. I don't know what they have to do now to make them win it. I don't know if this is the season. I can't actually know what is wrong with Arsenal. I can't actually know. But I believe it should be an easy match looking at the misses for Atlético de Bilbao. I think Nico Williams is out with Laporte as their new signing is also out. I believe, despite the fact that they have some key players, I still believe Arsenal should cruise the game because looking at Arsenal squad from Madueke, Gyökeres, Eze, looking at performance this weekend, I believe they should cruise. But with a new centre back from Arsenal, I I don't know how to say it. Is it Mascara? I like the guy. I don't think Arsenal are missing Saliba in their defense. I don't think they are missing him, but I think they'll miss Odegaard though in their midfield. But I hope they don't. They do not. But I know they will miss him. But I think this Arsenal team is stuck enough to beat Atletico. I actually wanted to do this, pulling up from the previous starting 11 for Arsenal. I don't see why this team shouldn't be able to compete in the Champions League to the final. I truly do not see it because Timber is having a good season. Gabriel, for me, I would say, is my best defender. I wish my team would sign him. He's my best defender in the Premier League, Gabriel. So I think having this their team, I think the only few thing I think that will not be a little bit balanced is having the flair or the creating for Martin Odegaard in the midfield. But looking at their game and what they did during the weekend, I believe they'll they'll cruise the game. As for me, they are my favorite to win this game against Bilbao. I'm not actually seeing Bilbao this season though. I hope they pull a surprise against Arsenal, but I don't think that will happen. So I do not see how shall I say it? I do not see a way out for Bilbao to win or even get a draw. I believe Arsenal should go to Spain, San Mamés, and win the game easily. I believe they should go and win the game easily. Because looking at their team, the only issue I have with their team is their coach. He's sometimes undecisive with his first 11. And I feel like sometimes the changes are not on time. And sometimes the changes affect the team. So let's see how Arsenal performs against Bilbao. The 2025-2026 season of the Champions League, where Tottenham is hosting Villarreal. I think this match is an even match, though, but still Tottenham has a home advantage. They truly has a home advantage, but this is a test of pace and endurance rather than poetry that where you expect certain players to come to the show and not disappoint as the game progresses. But I still feel like this game is even. Despite the fact that Villarreal lost during the weekend, you could see after they considered the two goals, you could see their performance against Atletico de Madrid. They actually showed Atletico de Madrid why they are in the Champions League now. They've actually showed them why they are in the Champions League now. So I'm expecting more even game across board. But to me, if I wish, I would wish Tottenham to win. But you know, in football, you do not have wishes. You just have win, lose, and draw. So I win. Tottenham would win the game against Villarreal. But to put this in perspective, I do not think there is a much difference between these two teams. In addition, I think I've seen um, a little bit of progression from Tottenham Hotspurs since they are disappointing Super Cup loss to PSG. I think they've raised up their level to a certain level that you expect a team who has come from a huge loss to at least put in a little bit of a show. But here we are. Villarreal, I don't know how to say it. They are putting in a certain level of performances against even the big teams, which I'm truly going to say is going to have a little effect on Tottenham. But I believe because Tottenham has a home advantage, they should be able to win the game for tomorrow. Because in previous Champions League season, Villarreal has been able to go to the semi-final whilst nobody was predicting them to be. So I'm thinking with those few performances in the Champions League, I'm hoping they come back and put in a little bit of effort to do it. But since they've been out in the Champions League for a while now, I don't know. But I'm hoping they will regain such performances from the. Yeah, another big game we need to talk about is the Juventus versus Borussia Dortmund. Another big game, but I feel like Borussia Dortmund are not the team yet to give the kind of competition to Juventus as as the kind of performance Juventus is putting in at the beginning of the season. 4 wins. I feel like it should be an easy win for Juventus. But here we know Champions League do not have such things as easy window. Borussia Dortmund can just show a surprise from nowhere because they've actually done that before. Um, Going to the final against Real Madrid, nobody predicted them to be in the final, but they were able to go to the final that season. So they can at least pull a surprise. But I know in watching from the game, Juventus, the game on the weekend against Inter Milan, Juventus has been, oh my God. Despite the fact that they still have a few defensive issues they need to sort out, but I'm thinking they are picking to be the team where they used to be. I'm hoping they get there, but for a team like Juventus to come into the competition and be that team to watch, I don't believe they are the actual team to watch though. But in this game, I believe they'll win. Now let's talk about my team, the owners of the Champions League. Whether you like it or yes, or whether you like it or no, we do not care. We are the best in the competition. We do not have such arguments with people who do not compete much in the league. We win it. Despite the fact that we have our drought, but we win it. We are still the best. And as you are hosting uh, Marseille at the Bernabeu, oh, I'm happy for Marseille. I'm happy for the signings they've done and the kind of players they have in their squad. Because with Greenwood, Kondobia, and Pavard, even with Morello, I think they should put in a serious effort of a small team trying to pull out a draw or a win against Madrid. But I do not believe they can do that. And I think it's going to be an easy win for Real Madrid. And looking from the performance, I'm thinking small teams would try to have their way or get their way with us. But I don't think it should be a problem for the best team in the Champions League. You know, the best team in the Champions League. I don't think Marseille should be a problem. This season, I'm yet to see the other teams' performances, but I still think we can still maneuver our way back into the Champions League final. And for my least favorite person, Kylian Mbappe, to at least hold the trophy. Because if you want to win it, you come to Madrid, you win it. Unlike other clubs, you go there, you don't get the opportunity to win it. And some still 10 years and counting. We should still pray for them. They will still come back into the Champions League and win some. I wanted to add a little bit. I'm really impressed with this Marseille team. I think they've gone for the distance to make sure they can compete in the Champions League. Sorry about a few incidents that happened in the team where they had to let go of one of their players. But I think I'm really sad for that player to even go to AC Milan because looking at the squad, look at the squad they have. If they had him in the midfield, I'm expecting like a serious performance from Marseille. I know they can start the season with just small struggles, but I believe they can be the team to compete in the Champions League. They have the players to compete. And the manager too is very good. So I don't see why it should be an issue. There is one thing I want to say. Um, People around me think I hate Kylian Mbappe, but I actually do not hate Kylian Mbappe. I believe Kylian Mbappe has too much potential to go trophyless as of a team last season. I do not want to consider those trophies he won last season as they are performance. They are trophies you win in addition to the previous season. Last season, Real Madrid went trophyless. I know he came to Real Madrid because of Champions League, and I hope he wins one. But with Vinicius cementing his position in the team, I know he's in a very difficult patch now. But with Vinicius cementing his position in the team, and the way I believe Kylian Mbappe could play, I wish he could be in the middle of the pack because I feel like with his pace, when you put in a true ball to Kylian Mbappe, I don't see anyone competing with him on the ball because of Kylian Mbappe's pace. Yes, I don't want to see. I'm not happy seeing him when everybody is running into the 18 box. He's moving out of the 18 box. I don't know what is. I know he's not a striker. He cannot play like a striker. But Jude wasn't a striker. Jude wasn't supposed to be helping Madrid to strike. But when he had the opportunity to play a first time, he was going into the box. He was making runs. I don't know why with Kylian Mbappe, he does the runs, but he chooses when to do the runs. And how should I say it? When Vinicius or either Brian Diaz or Rodrigo or whoever it is pushing the ball into the 18 box or making the runs, Mbappe is coming out of the 18 box. I've seriously seen that in multiple times, and I don't understand why he keeps on doing that. I feel like uh, he can do better than that. I think he can be in the 18 box because I remember his first game at Real Madrid against I think Atalanta. He went out of the 18 box, Jude Bellingham had to turn around, dribble. But when the ball was placed into the 18 box, he rushed into the 18 box, but he slipped a little bit and kicked the ball into the net. I was happy for him scoring, but I wish that if he had to be positioned himself in the 18 box, the ball will come for him to score without him trying to slip or be in a rush to kick the ball into the pool. So I know Kylian Mbappe would like to prove a point for Madrid to win trophies this season, but I wish he will get stuck in the middle so that Ada Goulet or whoever is playing on the right, whether Brahim Diaz, Rodrigo, or Franco, or whoever it is with Vinicius, and Jude Bellingham coming back, they can give him every necessary pass he needs. Because looking at the kind of pass Qwami gave to him during the World Cup qualifiers, I believe he can get the ball. He should just be patient, time his runs, and beat every single offside trap. I know he is too quick, and some of our players need to be aligned and matched with his pace. I'm hoping they actually get in line and match with his pace so that we see a very different performance from Kylian Mbappe tomorrow. Looking at the Real Madrid squad, I think look picking up information from live score, I think Jude Bellingham and Camavinga are back into the squad, but I'm very doubtful either they will actually start. I'm thinking Alonso would like to take his time with them, start them in the league, or maybe give them a few minutes in the Champions League. After we are winning, they'll give them a few minutes in the Champions League, just on 5 or 10 minutes in the Champions League. Then he'll actually, I believe he should actually progress them because Camavinga as a player is a very injury-prone player. So I'm hoping he takes his time like he did with Carvajal and didn't actually feature him that much in the Club World Cup. I'm hoping he actually gives time to Camavinga to fully heal. And I know Mendy is back, but I'm also hoping the Alonso takes the time with them so that they don't injure themselves easily again. So that they'll be fully be healed. But I know Jude will be back into the team and be raising his hand to do the celebration. Like I miss that a lot. I was scared that he'll be out for a very long time, but since he's back, I'm hoping we win the game tomorrow. But looking at the lineup for tomorrow, uh, I'm just hoping he plays what he did during the weekend because I do not want to see Franco Mastantuano because I wish they would take our time with that boy so that it wouldn't be like he has played a few games, he hasn't put in the effort. Looking at players like Vinicius, Rodrigo, Adagule, Valverde, I think everybody had their time. They had time to play. Some of them play out to play in the Castilla to actually get their footing in La Liga. With the exception of those who have actually been playing 20 years and above, like 22, 23, who were signed into the team that actually be playing professional football. But with an 18-year-old, I don't think we need to put pressure on him because I know he's a huge talent, and with time he's going to explode. I don't care whether he's being played at Argentina. This is Real Madrid. Everybody that came in, even Modric, had to buy his time, and I don't believe we should just rush him into things. The few matches to watch for the match day one because it's going to be entertaining. Chelsea being the world champions, I don't like calling them world champions, but at the end of the day, they have the badge to show for it. They are world champions. I don't like it, but I have to respect it. They've made an effort by beating PSG in the final, but this is a new thing for them. They haven't participated in this competition for I think a few years now, and we see how the world champions will perform against Bayern. Here's a rematch of the 2011-2012 UEFA Champions League final between Bayern Munich and Chelsea, where we had a whole lot of fun in that game. Chelsea won at the end of the day. Bayern Munich, with all their brilliance, lost the game. At the Allianz Arena, the match was so entertaining that it had to go to final from goals scored between Muller and Didier Drogba, even at the dying minute for Didier Drogba. What a wonderful header from him to create a whole lot of atmosphere between these two sides in this game, where Bayern Munich lost, playing wonderfully well during the day.
Before we do a deep dive into this match, uh, I don't know why everybody is picking Newcastle to win against Barcelona. I don't know why everybody, due to their poor performance at the start of the season, I don't see why everybody is trying to pick Newcastle to win against Barcelona. It actually doesn't make sense. Looking at Barcelona's performance, I know they are a high line performing team, which might be advantageous for most smaller teams to make use of. But I do not believe that should be a case to count Barcelona out, because I've been listening to most pundits and I think they are picking Newcastle to edge past Barcelona, and it actually doesn't make any sense to me. Looking at the kind of team Barcelona is, I don't think that should be a case. But if it is a case, I stand to be corrected. Uh, as we welcome Newcastle back into the Champions League after a year absence from the Champions League, their first match is one of the most entertaining matches that will happen on Thursday against Barcelona. Newcastle could have scarcely asked for a bigger fixture for the first match of the UEFA Champions League, as their poor performance to the start of the season would have been favored for them if they had met a more moderate or more less performing team, so that they can build their confidence from that. But here we are, they are facing Barcelona for the match day one in the UEFA Champions League.
As I would expect from City, to possess the ball, control the game, push high up the pitch, try to pressure Napoli and get chances. But they should be very wary of Napoli's counter-attack. I think that would put City in a state where I watched them against Manchester United, that they didn't necessarily need to hold on to the ball for the whole 90 minutes. Looking at some of the goals they scored, I think they had to sit back. When Manchester United made a mistake, they pounced on them. So I will also be expecting such uh, performance for Manchester City. But if they want to still maintain their possession, high pressing and everything, which I know they'll continue to do, they will never stop doing. That's the profile of that's the style and profile of Pep Guardiola. I'm thinking Napoli will or try to punish them on the counter attacks.
That I think might have a little bit effect. Might actually worry City is the injury list. I think they have a very significant injury list. I'm hoping the doubtful ones for the match day one of the Champions League might be available for them. But for the kind of team I know City to be, I don't think that will be a problem, because they are a money team, an oil money team. They can buy and replace anyone they want to. They compete for the transfer market. So I think them losing some of the few players might be a little bit of worry to the team, but I don't think that should be a problem for a team like City.
Former Manchester City star Kevin De Bruyne will be the center of attention. Whilst everybody watches reaction playing against his former team, um, Atletico de Madrid, I don't think they have a good record against English teams. and they're going away. I don't think. But let's see. Football, you cannot predict. Football, as I said before, football is just you win, you lose, you draw. If you know the team you are playing against, you cannot win, you try your best to pull out a draw. And I'm hoping Liverpool do not wait for 9 minutes to win, because Atletico Madrid has the nerve to hold on for 90 minutes. Going into this game, I don't expect any injuries to impact the game, despite the fact that Liverpool's McAllister is out for the game. I don't expect that should be a worry for Liverpool in the midfield. I think they have enough to compete in the midfield. Most of Liverpool's matches they've won last minute. I don't know why a big team with the money they've spent this season, they are not supposed to be having late heroes to be coming in, on individual brilliance to be coming in to help them win games. I'm sure I'm sure everybody is going or being careful with Liverpool. They are going at Liverpool. So I'm expecting some few resistance from teams to make sure a big team like Liverpool not to trash them. I'm always expecting that. But as a big team as Liverpool is, I don't think that should be a problem, because they are supposed to find ways and means around teams trying to get a draw away from them. Watching their performance this season, the late win or the late comebacks, I don't think in the long run it will help them, because if they go and meet out a very well defensive team on the day of the match, I think it will come back to hunt. It will come back to hunt them. I believe they should find easier ways and means to win their games, maybe by 60th minute or something. That's my suggestion, though. But with the late comebacks and wins, I don't think that's a good start to a season, having to spend that amount of money. But looking at the team they are going to play with, for years they've been one of the few best defensive teams. But from last season and this season, I don't think they are the team we used to know, Atletico de Madrid. And their performance this season has been very bad. I don't think they should create a tough match for Liverpool at home, because they are hosting Atletico de Madrid. And I don't think Atletico de Madrid can come to Liverpool's home and pull a surprise. Maybe Atletico Madrid can shock the world by playing draw there, but I don't believe they can go there to win games. I have, with the signings of Liverpool, I have high expectations from Liverpool to at least win a few major trophies. I'm not expecting them to win the Champions League this season, though, but they are on top. They are on top of the teams. I'm expecting them to win the Champions League. But for the league, I've been telling people I know that they are supposed to win the league by January, latest by February. They should secure the league, because they've spent enough. They've spent enough that should translate into them winning the league. Because with the kind of squad they have now, I don't think anybody should be competing with them. But here we are. They are Most of their matches they've won this season is late hero. It's been late. I don't understand why they are supposed to wait. I'm hoping, or I'm thinking, Diego Simone's team is would like to put the early season woes or poor performance behind them and focus on the Champions League by getting a good result against a great team now like Liverpool. They've They're a good team now. I'm just hoping I'm sure they would like to put the poor performance at the beginning of the season to bed just to make sure they have a good results. But I'm also afraid for them because I feel like those performances might hinder their progress in the game.
I think some few players we have to watch out for. I think Rafinha, Lewandowski, Pedri, and from the Newcastle side, I think Bruno, Elanga, and their new striker, Watermaid, Watermaid.